Hey everybody, it's Gypsy. So a couple days ago, I believe it was in my video called Animal Lover, People Hater, and in a post I did next day, that was entitled For the Love of Nature. I had mentioned that there are those who watch us is a society, as humanity, and see where the trends are going. And they use that against us. They use it to skew the actual true message and to control us, etc. Well, mostly, I mean, to divide us, really to divide us. Anyways, with those two, I was talking about how, all right, like spiritualism, paganism, etc., has made another resurgence. And I believe, now this is a theory, okay, this is just a theory, but it's my theory. I believe they watch where things are going, okay? So they noticed these groups of people love nature and animals, so we're going to take that and use it to divide, and they did. So if you go back and watch that or read that blog post, you'll see where I was going with that. But here's another one. Truth and relative truth. Okay. Now, in spiritualism, we say that truth is relative. Well, this is true to some extent. But you have to consider where it's coming from. Okay, the spiritualist community. So since it's a spiritualist community, when we say truth is relative, well, are we talking about concrete physical truth in the physical realm, or are we talking in higher realms such as the spirit realm? Now, I would think it would be obvious, but it has been taken to such extremes, I can't even believe what goes on in this world now. So, me being a spiritualist, and I'm going to speak for myself, when I say truth is relative, I am talking at a higher vibrational level in the spirit realm. So let's take manifestation. You can manifest in the physical realm. It is different than in the higher realms, though, because the physical realms vibrate at a much slower and lower frequency, which is why we appear solid, okay? Now, what this means is everything is slower. Okay, so you get an intention, okay, and you put it out there. Then when you set that intention, you have to take the steps, do the work, etc., to make that intention happen. And this takes a while. Depending on the situation, is going to determine the amount of time and the effort you put into it. And the most important part is the sincerity of your intention. Okay, so the more sincere you are, the more likely it is to happen. Well, if you're sincere, it's going to happen, and it's going to be quicker. As opposed to in the higher realms, such as the spirit realm. Okay, if you die, you're in the spirit realm, okay? You put an intention out there, it's like that, and you don't have to do a thing but put the intention out there. I remember when my son first died, I was told by a psychic medium that, because that's what he's been doing, he had manifested like an ATV, okay? Now, at the time, this is before I was living on the road or, like camping is a lifestyle. I didn't know any of this stuff, so I had to ask what that was. But anyway, and he was riding it on beaches. My son always loved the water, so he likes to ride his, well, all he had to do was think about it. I want an ATV. bang, it's there. I want to be at a beach, bang, he's there. So that's how it works there. Okay, so there, I'm pointing out the differences. Okay, so when we are talking about truth is relative, we are talking about spiritually. Because even though you are here in the physical realm, you still have your spirit here. And so you, the spirit, still have that aspect, but you are in the physical realm. So there is going to be differences. So, relative truth. We are speaking of your own personal truth. Now, for me, personally, I am speaking of my truth about the Creator God, about the spirit realm, the higher realms, any other living civilizations that may be out in the universe, etc. That is my own personal truth, which is relative. Someone else is going to have different truth about that. And they're permitted their truth, and their truth is valid for them. That is what makes it relative. So, that's why you have all these different spiritual paths and religions. Okay? And although at the very center, they're all pretty much the same, as you get further out, their differences are very obvious. Okay? So that's why, all right, you hear of NDEers, near-death experiencers. Well, they come back and their experience is very much their spiritual path, their religion, their truth. Because that is manifestation. Okay, so what you believe, what your truth is what you can manifest in the spirit realm. So that is true to you. Okay, just like my beliefs about spirituality, etc., are true to me. That is a relative truth, because it is a truth that differs between people based on their experiences, etc. Yet it's a valid truth to that person. So this is what we mean by relative truth. Now, physical realm truth is not, for the most part, it is not relative. Okay? Let's take colors, for instance. Now, we all look at the color green. We look at the grass, we see it's green. Okay? But I believe the green I see may be different than somebody else's. For instance, my son is colorblind and my father was colorblind. So when they look at green, it looks different to them than it does to me. Okay, that is kind of like a relative truth, but it's concrete truth because it is green and we all know that. Okay, so I'm not going to get political here or anything. But in the physical realm, there are truths that are truths. They are not relative. So this is where our spiritual paths, especially in spiritualism, paganism, etc., where we say truth is relative, has been skewed. So they see these groups we have made a comeback. And people are like, oh, truth is relative. Well, oh, that could be another way we could mess with their heads. So we're going to take that relative truth, which is spiritual, and bring it down a few dimensions, a few realms. Bring it down into the physical realm, which we really cannot do. But we're going to make it happen at the risk of everyone. We're going to make it happen just so we can create division, so that we can conquer them. And we can have them at each other's throats, and we have messed with their heads. Okay, so when things get crazy like this, we have to take a step back and say, well, where is this coming from? Because in all my life, I never dreamed I would see the things that are going on today. I mean, I couldn't have thought this shit up at all. And I have a good imagination. So there are things that are relative truths and things that are not. Now, I guess I'm going to go there. I have been pregnant 4 times. I lost 2 babies. Now, my 2 successful births, both were boys. That is a concrete truth. Both of my sons are and were boys. You cannot change that. It is a concrete truth. My oldest son was gay, but he was a gay man. He was not a lesbian because I gave birth to a boy. Now, that is a concrete truth. I do not believe that at any point in a person's life they can change genders because of that concrete truth. Now, what I do believe is there are those born to either gender who feel like they are the opposite gender, and they might dress and act like they are the opposite gender. I believe that's a thing. That is a thing. But I don't believe the actual physical gender can ever be changed no matter what you do. And I beg you not to do anything dangerous to hurt yourself. Okay? I'm begging you guys, please don't. Be who you are, but don't hurt yourself to be that. And it makes me sad. So I do believe, yes, there are people like that. I've seen it all my life. Unfortunately, this is another truth they have skewed to cause division so that they can conquer us. They want us at each other's throats. They want us hating each other, okay? So they make it look more than it is. All right. So yes, people like that exist. It is a truth. Can you physically change your gender? No. You could go and have those surgeries and take those chemicals, but you cannot physically do it. And no matter what you do, you have to accept you can't actually be that gender. Now, yes, you can dress and act like what you believe the opposite gender is. And that's fine. Just don't hurt yourself. Please don't hurt yourself. So yes, you can do that. But don't let them mess with you. They're trying to hurt us intentionally to conquer us, okay? And that's every group, all right? 36 years ago today, my oldest child was born. At the time, I didn't know he was gay because he was a baby. I let him grow up as a normal boy. I didn't think about whether he was gay or not until he became a teenager. Then I started having my suspicions, and I patiently waited until he felt comfortable coming out to me, which was a long wait. But nobody coerced him. Nobody had to talk him into being gay. You could not tell by the way he looked or his actions that he was gay. But nobody, you should be who you are without somebody else talking you into it. In other words, brainwashed. So if you believe you're the opposite sex and you came to that all by yourself, that conclusion, I'm willing to bet that nobody messed with you. If you get my drift. So, relative truths versus concrete truths. Like, oh, here's another one. I read this article today in the New York Post. I'm sorry, I find it funny. That humans might be contributing to global warming by breathing. Now, if we do, that means every other mammal does too. I did read other articles that came right out and said there is some, CO2 or whatever Yes, but no, it's not even near enough to make a difference, which makes sense because we have a very, very intelligent creator. He would not, or she, it would not create a being that just by its mere existence, breathing, would destroy the planet. It doesn't make sense. Okay? Also, any damage we do, the creator created the planet to adapt and overcome that. So anyways, I thought that article was really stupid. So there is a truth that they are twisting. Because we all scientifically know that when you breathe out, yes, there's a dog pushing me off the bed back here. It is, what you breathe out, which happens to be actually good for the plants, believe it or not. Anyways, so that's a truth they are taking and they are twisting. Climate change. How many times in my life, when I was young, oh my God, an ice age is coming. It was global cooling and the temperatures were dropping so fast and we're going into an ice age, and then we're waiting and it never happened. So they changed it to global warming. Still, I'm not impressed with the change because our planet, since its inception, has changed continuously, which is why you've had different species at different various times, because it naturally changes. And I believe, and I could be wrong, that there was a significant period of time humans did not exist on this planet. I don't know, I could be wrong. And then when we did exist, for most of my cat is sitting at the keyboard of my computer. For most of our existence, we did not have what we have now that could contribute to this. So it's like, I'm having trouble buying into that. I think there is a grain of truth in there that yes, we do need to be careful and take care of the planet, but that truth is being twisted to control us and have us at each other's throat. So be careful with truth and relative truth. So yes, I'm not trying to insult anybody. That's maybe, I can't, no. Is how I feel about it. They're using these things that are in our world and amplifying them and tweaking them just enough so it's skewed. I don't believe physical truth could ever really be relative. Not really, okay? It is what it is. And that's another saying we have in spirituality. It is what it is. So there are a lot of things while we are in the physical realm that we just have to accept them as they are. We cannot change them. Like, okay, my son who would have turned 36 today, he died. He's no longer here in the physical realm. I can't change that. It is what it is. So we have to get back to being a healthier society and being a mature society and realizing, okay, this is what it is. I need to accept it and learn to use it to my advantage. And you can. You can. I just don't recommend you do things to hurt yourself. Or you cannot also, and this is a harder one for anybody, I mean, you have your own relative truth. When somebody doesn't accept it, it's painful and difficult. Believe me, I have to live with it in other respects. But it's my truth and it's special to me, so I hold to it. When you're trying to change the physical, you are playing with fire. So anyways, that's my take on relative truth versus, I guess you'd say, absolute truth. You could take it or leave it. I don't care if you agree with me or not. I just felt the need to talk about it. Because I do feel they are taking these things, twisting them to use against us and divide us and conquer. Divide, eat, conquer. Go read about that. Anyways, we'll leave you with that. Blessed be, and make it a joyful one.